I'm a blind 18-year-old, Amma. What's something that is difficult to do for blind people that we don't talk about much or at all? Getting a job, 100%. In general, after someone has adapted to blindness, it doesn't keep us from being able to work. However, it does make people wary of hiring us. The ADA makes discrimination against the disabled illegal when it doesn't interfere with the job being done, but it still happens. People can barely fathom seeing us alone in public, let alone working. Out applications tend to be thrown out, and 80% of us are unemployed. How many jobs are there where blindness, let's say completely blind here, doesn't interfere with the job? If the company will spring for the tools, anything that uses a computer can actually be managed by a blind person, believe it or not. I've seen it done in a call center. Can confirm. I work with 2 blind people at a call center. They bring dogs to answer the phones. Exclamation mark. Question mark. Smart doggos. If there is one, what is the most challenging aspect of everyday life for you? Transportation. I use RTA, but that means I have to schedule my rides 24 hours in advance. I'm a very spontaneous person, so if I want to do something on a whim, I have to find a friend to take me. Because of this, I hope to move to a place with a taxi service soon. What's something your teachers did or could have done to help with your learning? The most useful thing they've done is let me take pictures of the board in place of notes. I actually have a very funny story about something kind of stupid they almost did. For a few years, I went to a private Catholic school because they had a disability scholarship and really nice extracurriculars I wanted in on. Their special education department, however, required students with IEPs to take ASL because the intervention specialist taught the class. You can see my dilemma. Backquote it's mandatory. Backquote but the student is blind. Backquote mandatory. Apostrophe. I'm not blind, but I have nystagmus, and I can't drive anymore because my vision is terrible. Are you excited about the future of self-driving cars, and when they get to a point where they are 100% reliable, would you consider getting one for transportation? No doubt about it. I'm a big fan of AI in general, so I'd be ecstatic about that level of innovation. I'm still holding out for human-like androids, though. That's what really interests me. I want a robot buddy, damn it. P. How did you become blind? A very unusual way, actually. When I was 14, I got very sick. At the time, they didn't know what it was. I couldn't walk for 9 months due to leg stiffness, and my vision became extremely blurred. I went under a battery of tests, but the only thing that came back abnormal was my VEP, a test of the optic nerve. My legs returned to normal only after 2 years of physical therapy, but my eyes didn't. Years later, they found out, via another bout of the same illness, that I had something called pandas. Basically, when I get strep throat, my body can't differentiate between the bacteria and my nervous tissue. It attacked my brain. Normally this caused OCD symptoms and a tic disorder, but, on rare occasions, it manifests as a movement disorder as well. There was no permanent damage to my brain, but, because my brain was swollen at the time, it compressed my optic nerve and starved it of oxygen. I'm blind due to the optic nerve damage. Okay, since you've seen them, what's your favorite color? Green. It must be difficult dealing with that at 18. How are your friends and family with it? Do they support you and help you out when you need it? Also, what are some of your favorite hobbies? My family has been fine with it, though I think my mother dreads doctor's appointments now. A lot of them thought she was making up the problem initially because the first few tests were normal. My father wasn't in the picture for a while before that. My friends often forget I'm blind, which is a little funny to me. They'll point at something in the distance, and I just look at them expectantly until they realize. It's hilarious, though I've learned to make constant blind jokes, so that they don't forget so often. As for hobbies, I absolutely love theater. I'm a ballet dancer, but my real heart is in acting. Musicals, plays, improv, I don't care either way. It's one of the few talents I feel naturally very strong in. I hope you keep pursuing acting. I feel audiences need to see more diversity on stage and screen, and that includes people who have disabilities. And I know from experience that seeing someone on stage who somehow resembles you can be very powerful. How are you reading this? As I have some vision, I'm able to use a screen to read if I zoom in on the text. Totally blind users use something called a screen reader, which speaks text aloud. What's your favorite band or genre of music? I like metal and alternative rock, mostly, but I like other genres too. However, my favorite songs are both by Ludo, Lake Pontchartrain and Skeletons on Parade. Do you enjoy films regardless of not seeing the screen? If I watch on my phone, or in a theater, sitting close, I can usually see most of the action. When it comes to watching them on actual TVs, it's just a blur, but yeah. I'm more of a TV series person than a movie person, to be fair, but I definitely still like to watch things. My current favorite show is Peaky Blinders, and I watched Room a little while back, which was great. My favorite movie might be It, 2017, though. What are some things that make you attracted to someone else? Voice. Conversation. How do you choose what you like more? Question mark. Edit. Mobile formatting. I was never super visual with my attraction anyway, though that could have been age. I'm generally the type to become very good friends with someone before I realize, oh shit, those were romantic feelings. I suppose the most important thing to me is general morality. People who care about others and want to help the world are more attractive to me than anything else. I spend much of my time advocating for creating accessible software and websites to ensure that they are coded correctly and can be used with assistive technology. What is one thing you would tell web developers to start doing to make things easier for people like you? Dark text on light backgrounds. Light text on dark backgrounds. How does being legally blind affect your social life? It gives me about a million more joke opportunities. Really, though, I can't tell all that much. I put people off already because I'm a little too loud and I'm kinda weird, so I've always tended to make friends with the more outcasty kids at my school. We don't have a theater department, so I make friends less on a basis of similar interests and more on a basis of similar senses of humor. Fun fact, though, my best friend at school is deaf. We started talking because both of our accommodations have us sitting in the front row in our classes. Do you wear glasses or contacts? And do you have a driver's license? I do wear glasses, though not often as they don't do much for my vision anymore. I can't legally drive, and I'm pretty sure it wouldn't end well if I tried, lol. You can still legally drive bumper cars. Seriously, they just check your height. Do you dream? If so, have you noticed a change in your dreams going from being able to see and then slowly losing your sight? When you dream now, are the images blurry or sharp? I dream. Usually, now, my dreams aren't very visually oriented, if that makes sense. What I see isn't blurry, but I only see what's important at a given time. There isn't much of a background. What was the hardest to get used to when you got legally blind? How do you feel about that thing now? The initial loss was gradual, and I thought I just needed new glasses for a few months. When they figured out that my vision wasn't correctable, I was a little irritated, but I could work with it. School was probably the roughest. I didn't know how to explain my vision very well at first, and no matter how close I sat, I couldn't see the board. My freshman year teachers had trouble with that. They only confirmed it to be permanent last year, and, by that point, I was already expecting it. It didn't bother me at all. Overall, I don't mind being blind. I think it's an interesting addition to my life, and, while it can be inconvenient, it's definitely not a bad thing for me at this point. You're a beautiful human being with an amazing outlook that could be so much darker considering everything you went through. Keep it up.